around mid lane. Outside of the Lucian in mid lane, I think the shuffles were great, but I think they got to lean on that more. More gank setups onto mid. I'm looking at, I just said it in Alan's desk, but like the Leona into roaming mid with an Ezreal pairing, I think that's like really high prior now, since there's so many supports are pinched as well.
I think Syndra's going to be left open. I think that's what Checola is probably aiming for. One of the very strong mids. That's the one he made his debut as his best champion on the LEC back in 2021 spring as well. And with the Braum ban right here, they banned the 2 champions from Baus as well. If Syndra's not the last one, as it is.
Yeah, Syndra, yeah. Yep.
Oh, well.
I'm going to go for that real quick. I think looking at priority picks...
Varus time. We have been talking about it the past couple of games, but it does feel like maybe we get some more dominated bot. Maybe
Legolas makes sense, you know?
Ah, yeah. The real archer, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Into this, you could go a Kalista lane, although I don't think they're going to go towards that. Has been nerfed a little bit recently. Other than that, you've got Ashe. They could go into it. Jin's gone as a typical answer.
I do like a Misfortune lane into a Varus.
Ezreal, I think, could be
up
good.
to the point where you know what's happening on the other side, right? Because Rumble has also been left open for the set of Barça, which is something that Baus hates playing into.
Right,
but Rumble is so strong into Misfortune. You cannot stand still to bullet time, right? So maybe playing it a little bit more safe. You can play the core game, maybe flex it to mid, even though Nemesis does not really have it in his recent pool.
I think it's just Crowning likes this champ a lot, right? Usually what you see is, do you care about the Renata breakup and so on? But no, they just go towards the Corki. They go towards this pick because Crowny in the last series also picked in like game 2 or something. He just loves this pick. It's super strong early. You can contest the Varus and you can run out with the jungle here.
They have been pairing it with Braum a lot of the time, but that's already banned away. So curious about the next support, and especially when Engage is all up and available, really. We get a Trundle, though.
Ooh, Jax flex into the Trundle, maybe? Or do you go something that can kite the Trundle? Those are your 2 options.
I'd like to see a Lee Sin again from Faker. I need that early game action coming through from Barça. You pair it up with a really strong mid laner. Like, even right now, I'm even thinking like LeBlanc Lee Sin. Like, good old school season, whatever, 6, whatever it was, mid-jungle duo. They're going to lock in the Jax, which has pretty much eliminated most of the most played prominent champions from Baus.
I think you can go Sejuani Jax into this, or you just flex the Jax forever because you can win.
Sejuani to Trundle.
Yeah, I know it's rough. No. It's rough, but it's more for the pairing, and you can put the Jax into the Trundle if you want to, because you can win the auto attack war. It does look like this Jax is going to maintain as a flex for the rest of the draft, though. Now, do you match mid into Ori? Is there a control mage up and left available? I don't think there is. With Hui, Azir.
What do you think about
Syndra
Aurora? But the
Aurora
lane
loses lane pretty hard. You opt for like some kind of artillery champion could go into that. Rise loses lane. These champs lose lane, but they're good pairings.
I mean, you can't win them all.
No, you can't win them all.
You can't win them all.
Oh my goodness. How did we forget? Usually he pairs us off with Kindred, though, so...
Okay, it's not going to be the Zillion right there. It's just a bait.
Is this, some kind of mind control to bait a ban?
Incoming Alistar ban from LR, most likely, right? Because we still need Engage.
Yeah.
I just want to remind everyone that this Orianna is the highest DPM for Checolad in the entire tournament. 1.3k in their first series. He was the guy who dragged the entire team with that Orianna through the finish line. So if there's a champion that he feels very, very comfortable in, that is this Orianna. Let's not forget things like Vladimir that have been floating around also, or the set of Nemesis, which are really good later onto the Orianna. You can dodge shockwaves, dive the backline, etc.
Yeah, I think in isolation, the counters into Ori that are up and left available is like you self-counterpick yourself, but you draft something for the 2v2, something like the Silas, I'm not sure, something like this. Or you pick artillery, and objectively, those are good champions into the Orianna. On the other hand here, I think you ban away... I'm thinking of support, and Nautilus Poppy come to mind into the Rel that I would consider, because it's good into the Corki and the Rel. Let's see what Lost Ratones ban here. Pinching away Ambessa. This leads me to believe that it's probably a Jax top lane, because the Ambessa is pretty good into Jax.
And also, White that is chilling right now. He feels very confident about the Jax is most likely going to be going over on the top side of the map. But we do have Baus. He's going to have to scramble a little bit in terms of like his champion pool, right? Like we've seen the Queens, we've seen the Kleds, we have seen the mixed damage Aurelia over in solo queue as well. But his most prominent champions have either been played or taken away.
I wonder if they banned Gragas here to set up for the Jax. I think that's the last pick that's really... Oh, that's already gone. All right, getting rid of the Baus Gragas already. What else could they ban to set up this Jax now? What is left in Baus's arsenal? Any thoughts, Hysterics?
You're looking at me because I'm a bit of a degenerate as well, right?
Yeah, you are.
AP Aurelia?
I think there could be an angle. There could be an angle where they can't play Garen Zillion. Call me crazy right here, but Baos has brought out things like the Garen, and especially with the speed up from Zillion later on, speeds ups on Trundle as well, would be really fun.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Ooh.
Oh, Akali into Control Mage is a classic. I don't know, think of this. It's super, super good. Oh, they go Artillery.
Okay,
I like
so
the
just
Akali.
outrange.
You were looking for something that outranges Orianna. That does.
Yeah, Artillery is an objectively good answer into Orianna. You have frontline to allow yourself to just throw spells out, and that's what they're going to go for as well. I thought they were going to go for Akali because it sustains the Ori lane, and then you counter the Jackson side lane too, but Xerath lock-in it is. And it's going to be a frontline. Now, what does... It is a Jax flex if they lock in the Ornn. So this Jax was sus all along.
But then what do you run into this tank? Surely you have a free matchup, right?
I mean, the good thing about this Ornn is that you have Immobile carry on the other side to engage onto the Xerath to close the gap versus the
And it's
poke.
long range as well.
Yeah, and there's the Nautilus. I think this
Is a
problematic.
coincidence about to happen right here?
Ooh,
Because it could very well be the angle.
he's smiling. I don't know if I like
He's
that.
playing with his hair. He's smiling.
Glad
It's
angle?
a glad angle.
With the Wrath?
I'm not the biggest fan of this, but it bounces confident. I just think you can't kill tanks as Kled. You don't really have that much damage in your kit to kill tanks like this.
Who kills tanks in this comp? The Corky.
I mean, you have Trundle. In fairness, you have
Trundle
Trundle,
can
so
shred,
maybe it's completely fine. And if he plays frontline, I think it's okay. He's going to do the same thing with proxying anyway.
Hi, Mo. I think this one's going to be very miserable. The second he walks up, do the face check or try and take control of a team fight, Trundle is going to press R on him and he's going to melt. You've got Corky, you've got Xerath, and you from 3 screens away, Kled diving into the backline. For Barcelona, that's a very standard front to back. The only thing that's not standard is that we don't see Jax very much often right now in the jungle. But again, it fits the profile of Fager. He wants to play for those early game fist fights. Later on, also with the combo with the Orianna ult as well, can work really well to try and catch LR in team fights.
Yeah. I think something underrated here is the ball delivery of a Jax. The leap is instant. So
Yep.
you can get a nice little ball delivery engage. It's about how well can LR space the side of Barca with the Xerath poke and poke beforehand, as well as I'm a little bit concerned about the Xerath champ. I think it's really easy to be ganked and set far behind in the early game.
And then you do nothing.
Yep, then you're completely worthless because all you offer is damage, right?
And I think for LR, it's like this spanner into the works. There's a meme about Game 3 and there's a meme about LR. Like, once they get comfortable in the draft, it's gum time for White
It's gum time.
And Legolas is already chewing. They're locked in and they have to be. They're on death's door for the series. They're on death's door for the finals. They made it all the way here, knocking down LFL not once but twice in Gentlemates. Then KC Blue, the famous organization. Spain's already done enough damage, but they need to get past the Rats. The infestation continues to linger around Europe. We're wondering if Spain can handle it or if they too will succumb. Welcome to Game 3. Welcome to Match Point that LR will be playing with for the next 3 if it can get there.
Wow, he's invisible.
Yeah, he just teleported as we get onto Summoner's Rift. Kled, Xerath, this is an LR draft that is just like, Jesus, take the wheel a bit.
They cooked. They cooked. I guarantee Cage was backstage saying, or rather to his chat, you will not believe what we cooked for this draft because it is surprising. You never see Xerath, right? First strike proc, though, already. So the mental warfare and the mana flow band is already stacking.
Oh, but Legolas just got mana flow as well, so who's really
It's a 1-for-1 so far.
Yeah, that's right. We'll
pretty even.
Keep you updated so far. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the only mana flow band in the game outside of Checker-Lad. So satisfying. That's dopamine, isn't it? Getting mana flow band up.
It is satisfying.
25 mana, you're like, oh my god.
It's the opposite of satisfying as well.
Oh my god.
When you give a first strike proc and you hear the ding, like you're just so unhappy.
True.
It was much better when it could give you like a lot more stuff, right? We'd give you pots.
Oh, you're talking about
mana
Klepto.
pot. Yeah,
Klepto,
Klepto.
I mean, that
Wait,
was just
technically Klepto. They just disguised it under
Yeah,
another
but
name.
Klepto was so much more broken.
It was.
I mean,
it was.
you would just get your sacks of
Gant
gold.
Blank Klepto. Oh my god. Ezreal Klepto. Good times.
Yeah. In this lane, I imagine Ori could get the push and trade a bit of HP, but like Xerath here, over time, will start outranging the Orianna a lot in terms of the trades. That's how usually these artillery lanes go.
Checker-Lad's missed 2 CS, by the way. I'm just going to pull that out there because...
You do him dirty like that.
I mean, no, it's just also like... I feel like, Aragon, if we're talking about the early parts of the lane being so crucial, every CS matters. And there's a lot of pressure on him.
Knocks off the first strike there for Checker-Lad into Nemesis. But he's not going to get the proc there.
Now, very importantly, right, this is a Comet Virus. It's going to take a lot of control of the lane, a lot of poke in the early game, and both of the junglers are going to be heading towards the bot side of the map, which means bot lane priority is going to be very pivotal, because one of the 2 junglers is going to have to do 180 and head top Scuttle Carb.
Both heading towards bot side. I mean, you have the most ganks up in bot lane as well, right? With your Rel, with your Nautilus. The Trundle could 3-camp. We saw that from Velia last game, although the wave isn't an ideal spot for that to happen. Jax could look for something similar with a Counter-Strike. Both junglers have a lot to work with in terms of this gank.
First line, really nice on the Crownie. Good defense from Reckless in the meantime. The crash down keeps Wyatt in from going in on this Corki, and since he has so much damage in his kit, he gets a decent trade back.
Trades going to affect the condition of the laners, but they both still have potions. The only person who's used a potion, rather, is Crownie. So not going to be too scared for this gank that's coming from Velia and Vega.
I feel like if anything, right here, Crownie and Reckless, now that their junglers are heading towards the bot side of the map, they can take more aggressive trades, having the barrier onto Crownie, trying to take complete control of the bot side of the map. Trying to make sure that Velia does walk into that bot side river and doesn't have to go all the way top.
I think it's quite scary for both mid laners to walk into river here, but with Chocolate having a notable HP advantage, although Nemesis does have a potion, maybe the Orianna with her move speed is going to be more comfortable walking in. Level advantage for bot side here in terms of LR, so it looks like this crowd's going to go to the Trundle.
French line again, though. These crash downs from Reckless are great defensive maneuvers onto Crownie, but the health bar hurts. Just walks away after Barça have the wave pushed in and in a pretty good spot.
Oh, I really like this from Thager. He resets knowing that he can't walk into the bot side scuttle, grabs the double longsword and heads top in case he does find Velia or Velia tries to sneak through past that mid lane, which he's pinging right now to go towards the top side of the map. That Jax will be stronger.
Yeah, I really don't like this Kled into topside as well. You can see how much Baus is struggling to even control the lane. Potion and Cookie available for Ornn compared to the Kled, who's gonna just take so much percentage health damage because Kled has some of the highest base HP in the game.
You also get to build in lane, right?
Yeah, and you're just stuck in lane. He's gonna have to recall TP back. Thager's looking for a gank mid. Flash.
Counter-strike, flash. Oh, no! Nemesis will flash in the end. At least that's something, but that should have been first blood.
That's a whoopsie right there from Thager. Does take the flash though. One way or another, the flash is down from that Xerath. And we mentioned earlier on, you take the flash from Xerath early on, you could very easily get caught and go down. And we do know how Barça really likes to play around that mid lane. Now, what I'm looking at is not necessarily Thager, but White in. He was literally Chocolade's shadow in their semi-final series. So I'm looking to see when does that Nautilus get freed from lane to walk around mid lane.
I think Trade's gonna remount, get all his HP back, but
good music.
he's gonna really need this crash right here. The wave is being held by White Knight, so there's gonna be a
we're
gank.
looking bot because, yeah, the 2v2 is gonna start off first. Flash from Whiting going into Crownie. Barry comes out, but first blood over to Reckless as Legolas is looking for the trade. Instant flash in return. Meanwhile, Baus goes down in topside, but Reckless is taking down Legolas. The Ghost has just worn off. Reckless needs a couple more autos and a Shattering Strike, but only just Legolas on his escape route. Flash from Reckless. Look at him go. Horsey's coming in. The Steel Horse with a crash
He's
down.
still going.
A flash Shattering Strike would do it, but Legolas is going to be safe on less than 100 HP.
Single digit. I think it was about 7 HP on Legolas.
The wave here is held really well by White Knight, by the way. The entire time this gank is being fished, White Knight is trading not only to deal damage to the Kled and get rid of the dismount, but also to provide the setup for this gank. Holding this wave is really, really good.
Oh, Chocolate all the way, bottom right and mid. He's getting jumped on by Velia right there. They're not going to force his flash yet. That was just an attempt. A really nice turnaround from Velia right here to help Nemesis push out that wave.
Did that a lot in last game. I feel like you could even say game one is right at the arcane. Instantly onto Chocolate. Whiting's going to try and stop it. Chocolate flashes. Now both mid laners without the summoner.
I mean, the theme of this game is going to be immobile control mage versus immobile artillery mage. Who can get ganked the least? I think... Wait,
it's Thager. It's the jungler who's getting ganked the most.
Baus is in no man's land a little bit.
Baus is the one in trouble though. There's the counter-strike. A stun up. He dismounts at a good time, but a searing charge means he goes nowhere. He flashes over the wall. Here comes the Call the Forge God for a kill, and Baus is dead now, having nothing up and available.
However, he had pushed the wave, and there's a couple of creeps that are lost
and Ornn
from White Knight on the top side of the map. The Ornn ult goes down, which means that Vela's going to head down, start chomping onto this dragon uncontested.
True.
Yeah, 140-second cooldown on that Ornn ult too, so it will just be up for grubs. So being down isn't going to be the end of the world, but if there's a fight beforehand, that could be problematic. Val, you're going to look for a gank down in bot side.
Care about the ward though, because all he needs is a pillar, an instant flash, a crash down. Whiting has nowhere to go. He's got no flash, and so with that pillar, it's a free kill salvaged over to Velia. He's everywhere. This series, Velia happens to be everywhere.
Reganking down bot side. popping the flash, sorry, the hook, trying to get away from White in there, and then the gank with the pillar against the wall, so there's nowhere to run.
Yeah.
He's just going to pick up that kill really, really easily. Now Dragon is going to be started up for Lost Returners.
I mean, Velia has the damage to do this, but Checolate is nearby. Crash down from Reckless and Crowny. They want to be in the vicinity in case Checolate comes in with a shockwave, but he won't risk it. He's got no flash either, and it is going to be first Dragon. But this is also a repeat, right? Like, while Barça adds pressure on the top, we talk about the minion wave deny, we talk about his constant pushing in. It also enables them to consistently just pick up these dragons.
Also, no one really talks about the kind of champions that Baus does that with. They're all very slippery, very annoying to deal with. Kled can mount, dismount, remount again. He's got the extra shield as well. He has the ult later on to be able to get away. So all these slippery champions take so much time to hunt down that it allows Alar the space and the time to take objectives on the other side of the map.
Yeah, Baus just picked up a cull at 8 minutes. I think that's going to be
Okay.
23-minute-ish, 24-minute-ish, cull completion, maybe 22 at best. That's going to be a little bit late. Grub started up. Is Thega going to play for 2 or 1 Grubs here? That's the question.
Fight. Thega doesn't have his flash available. 5 seconds on that as well. 1 Grub at the very least for now. Barca want to try and find 2 and see what they can do with a bit of time held at their hands. Legolas coming in. But the team that needs everything in this series starting now. Ball. It comes off and engage. Thega doesn't pull it in. Lost Returners still trepidatiously tiptoeing in as Nemesis is pulled back in. A great engage, though. Reckless pulls them together, makes them kiss, and Barca trying to get that second grub will succeed, but how goes the fight? They can chomp for a bit. His AD reduced. Reckless re-engage. The jump on from the Jax. He's carrying. Thega being the hero for Spain, but as Reckless gets yet another stun, and Nemesis sits there for fun. The damage and range is enough. Nemesis just missing. Reckless will have to finish the job and pick up 3 kills in the early game. Legolas will run, but not for much longer, as Lost Returners in this same spot win another big team fight.
Checkerlad's Ori ultimate doesn't quite find enough there, and there's no follow-up, whereas on the other side, Lost Returners finds the engage with Reckless's Rel crash down, interchaining that with the Xerath ulti.
I found it very, very clever what Thager did at the start. He held his counter-strike. We're going to see the replay as well, I'm assuming, but...
walking down
okay,
here.
it's just one Orin. It's just one Orin. He's fine for now.
Okay.
All right, let's watch the counter-strike right here. You'll see that Thager holds the counter-strike, which forces Lost Returners to do the choke point. But forcing them into the choke point creates a death ball, which then dives into Barca's backline and finds the flashless Orianna.
I quite like how the flash Q was forced out of Thega by Velia playing with Q cooldowns and kiting away. And even though they don't have an AD carry right here, the range from Nemesis and just kiting with the double buffs Rel and the slows is enough of a threat. Runs him down. The move speed, and it's,
if he had cast that arrow 1 second more, he would have gotten Xerath right there.
1-0 and 3. Nemesis after the fight still looking good, but as we get Thega down in yet another lane call, the Forge gone on the Baus. Ulti gonna pop, run into Thega. Here comes Velia to save the day. Enter Mini Kled. Baus wants to remount. There's a pillar out. Bellow's breath is doing damage, and Baus is playing on the edge of this one, but Velia might be able to do it himself. He's got his ulti out. That subjugation slowing down Thega and sapping away his energy. Is White Knight now with no mana to escape, and with a remount, Baus has everything up and available. It's going to turn into a dive. Searing charge, though. Makes it a 1-for-1. Shotgun out. Baus is dead right of the arcane. Helps out in the end. It's a massacre. It's a bloodthirsty fight, but Velia stays there to pick up the pieces.
The Triumph, I thought, maybe would keep a Baus alive right at the end there, but it isn't quite enough. Now you have Trundle hitting the tower with a Grub right there, and Trundle does so much damage to the tower, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick up a few plates.
I just want to remind everyone, when Velia is on his day, nobody threatens Baus. He was at the right place, at the right time, to defend the dive towards Baus. And again, the slipperiness of the Kled, being able to mount and remount, buys so much time for the counter gank to come through.
Yeah. The percentage health damage isn't quite enough. I think Baus was spacing the brittle proc so long there, and now off of the back of those platings, that's definitely a Triforce completion for Velia. He's going to be really strong on the map right now to match the Jax.
He's also picked up, Cull's late, but also the boots are late. He's got the boots at 10.5 minutes. We'll look at this fight again. As you said, spacing was key.
Yeah, spacing away from the brittle procs and now kiting them down. Look how squishy Thega is in this matchup. Even though you have the dodge zone, it's kind of fake, I think.
He got subjugated, man. Give him a break.
The problem is, though, Jack's jungle in general isn't really picked because it is so weak.
I think Nemesis killed his top laner. Wait, 1,
You think
2.
he aimed at him?
Look. What?
They got the wave, right?
I saw that and I'm like, yeah, we don't
Maybe it was
have
personal.
the game. Like,
Hold on a minute.
Just thought he aimed it. Well, Nemesis showed that he can hit him.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a message.
So Nemesis did pick up that kill. And I'm seeing first items coming on board as we have Dragon in 30 seconds. And this turret is not long for the world. Remember, they did pick up a grub, so LR, they have access to open up yet another big gold lead. 3,000 already at 12 minutes into the game. Whittling away.
Brownie's not going to be able to get the tower. The threat of the gank setup and the knock up there on the pillar next to him. Even though the tower was set up by Velya there to get it, not quite going to be able to take it. And then Dragon spawning in 2 seconds.
The one thing that really pops up for me is the fact that Orianna has no item yet, and you're walking into Trinity Forces, Ludens, double Trinity Force actually, and Ludens on the other side for the side of LR. I think Chocolate is going to be super weak walking into this one, so FFing it here for Barça I think is the best move.
And one thing we didn't talk about is the Nemesis chunks that are starting to come through because the Xerath does have a lead, and this is what he does, is that Nautilus tries to face check, and look at this. The big engage tool can't walk into River. Whiting gets chunked out again. Second Dragon down for LR. And because of that turret going down to Crownie too, 4,000 now just about the lead.
Can I save face for White Knight here a little bit? I imagine in the chat right now people are laughing at the Bramble Vest, but the idea here is, like I've talked to a bunch of pros in LC and stuff, is like you just buy the best amount of stats to survive the lane because you outscale anyway.
Yep.
I already see the haha Grievous Wounds versus Kled. So that's the idea, right? Early game, you just get as strong as stats as possible because you outscale anyway. We've seen it the same in C9 with, there was a Gwen matchup Intercept with Whipper, and that's the idea. Oh, Legolas.
Right of the arcane, Legolas taking big damage. Reckless was there, flash forced out, and Ghost. Legolas now with nothing here. It's Crownie. He just took a blast cone into a Nautilus and a Jax. Pillar might try and save his life with a depth charge. Crownie flashes away, but it's matched. Thega now, he just has to survive as long as he can, but he can't. Because Velya's whacking away with his club. This guy's pulling out some magic from Caveman to Wizard. Velya just being fed kills again. How is this guy always so damn strong as Legolas has now walked in after he lost his double sums? Nemesis or Reckless, it doesn't matter. The kill's going over as Chocolate gets Velya. And we devolve into chaos in an 18-kill game. While LR still somehow keep getting more gold off of every passing play. Just ignore Balth. They're just going to keep running after each other. He might dismount. Call the Forge God comes in. White Knight will have some backup. There's a triple Hexgate usage here. Balth's going to remount now, but he is dead. Thega gets the kill, but top turret for Balth.
LR are like the Avengers. They all start coming through when you don't expect. That was a great pick, like Crownie takes the blast cone into a Nautilus and a Jax, as well just one more time. They force his flash, they do kill him, but the Velya turns around, the subjugate makes this Trundle a god, and he just globs him down.
It's a nice hook onto the Valkyrie there from Whiten, but it just isn't enough. Thega's just going to die, he's going to fall. Velya is... I want you to watch this flash right here. Onto the Varus ulti, it's so nice. Here, flash away as he's chomping. He's going to get run down by Chocolate here, but make no mistake, the hero of this place was Velya. This play, rather.
Well, the hero died to Chocolate.
Yeah, well, he does die.
Which is very important, right? Because you get a big shutdown on the Orianna. We talked about how they need more items onto Chocolate, and right now Barça, they have the full control of the river.
Here he comes from South America. And Balsa's coming in. No, the south of America. Pause for that. Balsa's going to go into Mini and probably die at the start of this fight.
He's
As
out.
he runs out, he somehow survives. Crash down, CC, stun out, and Crownie gets the kill. How did no one from LR die there? More importantly, how did Balsa survive? The Chocolate at half HP. It's a poke from Nemesis that continues to hurt out, and this guy is starting to one-shot. The range again ensues.
And very importantly, Baus TP's back in to put pressure over on the tops of the map now that Barça are on reset timers because they got chunked down so hard. So mid lane's getting chunked for free, top lane's getting pushed for free from Baus TPing back, and Fager cannot even access his own jungle.
Yeah, mid tower might fall here, especially with the...
He's dead. He's stunned and he's
wait
dead.
a minute.
Nemesis is huge. Nemesis is unbelievable right now.
Actually, how do you miss a spell on Pillar, CC? I guess that's the idea here. The setup's really, really nice with frontline. And Baus TPing back, like you said, Trouble, and the wave clip from Titanic is...
Oh, dredge line. Velya chops and gets it anyway. Depth charge. They're getting annoyed. Barger getting annoyed because at 6k gold down, they wanted something. Now they do punish Velya a minute 20 before Dragon, but he should be up for that. And quickly, side note, South of America, South America, South of America. When I hear Kled, I think of being down in South America, like Florida or something, you know? When you hear the yeah, I think of a cowboy.
Ah.
Okay?
I had no idea where you were going with that either.
Yeah, because I'm from Australia, and for me, I don't really know geography, so apologies as this guy He should have died.
Yeah, I think with the percentage health here, from like the Varus, from the Ornn, I expect any time Bowsy is frontlining for him to die, but he survives.
But the thing is, Orianna and Varus could not hit.
Yeah.
The pillar goes down, they cannot overextend to come out of the choke point, so there were no real damage dealers to take down Bows. As Chekola's gonna TP away to get out of trouble.
Nice escape.
Rite of Arcane used for that as well, but 30 seconds, no TP, and Dragon's coming up. This is the third Dragon for LR. That gold lead is still there, ladies and gentlemen, 5,000 top of your screen. It maintains distance between them and Barca, and you're thinking like one and a bit items. An Orianna that isn't scaling or anywhere close. Barca trying to win this fight and stop the scaling.
Yeah, sending 3 down bot side for Los Ratones means that they can move into river, get mid push, then move into river and take control first. 2 wards in the banana bush. Going to be really hard to take control of, as one is used to mark a flank down in bot side, I believe. But still, face checking this is the task for Los Ratones. Can they do it? Reckless has his buffer on any CC.
Stun.
Oh,
it
man.
begins. Nemesis damage. Can Barca find anything more? Crownie's in trouble and he will be isolated and taken down. That's great. 1 kill for the Spanish rebels fighting this battle. LR, though, have sent Baus towards mid. It's only a 3rd Dragon, but now the fight begins.
And Ornn and Orianna are super chunked down, so if Nemesis finds the mark right here, they could turn this around.
Value with an angle. That's what matters here. You look in the picture in
Oh my
picture.
God.
Turret going down. The Dragon gets them low. Wide in for an engage. Onto Reckless. Crash down to disengage. Nemesis still buying that space as he needs, but his zone control massive. Chains Corruption not connecting. And a long form engage from White Knight that has no follow-up. Walking into Nemesis is a disaster. Is a horror. Is a mismatch. A shockwave good, but again, where are the kills? Thega gets subjugated by Velia, and subjugated he will be with the chains lashed off. It's now Legless in a 1 versus 3, but Nemesis keeps firing and firing and firing and firing, and Legless doesn't have a single chance against the right of this Arcane.
How do they keep doing it in every single game, finding the 4 versus 5, using the Zerath's range and kiting, pulling apart Barca around that Wraith pit? They just could not navigate that fight. Nemesis damage. I saw you visually cringe, Trouble, on this W right here.
Oh yeah, that was absolutely insane, the damage from Nemesis. But the fact that Barcelona splits apart here is what's important. They're running headfirst into a Fnatic bush that they knew they were running into, and then again, your 2 carries are split. Chekola's running for his life on the top side, whilst Legolas running for his life on the bot side. They have never really played that front to back that we really talked about from Champ Select.
It feels like this moment is layering in the sand that these fights seem impossible. Barca are 8,500 gold in the ground. Close moments within this game and the last, but as you said, Trouble, no front-to-backs have happened.
Oh,
no moments of shockwave from Chocolate, and he flashes. But with the Rite of the Arcane again, all it needs to hit is 1 more. An objective bounty, yes, for bot. But a kill through mid, opening up towards the inhib.
Is he soloing Atakan?
I think Velia might be soloing Atakan.
Oh, he's
Brownie's
chomping.
going to help. But Baus was here to defend bot, so...
Yeah, Velia's health bar wasn't moving. He could definitely do the solo if he wanted to. But just going to accelerate a little bit with Crownie here. They're trying to cross-map. Can Baus clear the way? Probably not.
Chains of Corruption. Bit of range here. There's good damage. He does pay respect. He's trying to get out, but a depth charge has now burnt quite a lot. Objective bounty is nice, and Baus in a small mini Kled gets out. That engage would have hit. He would have found his mark, and 2 turrets here for Barca stimulates some gold growth.
On the other side, Atakan, the whole top quadrant of Thager's jungle, and a tower just about to take a huge hit from the side of Barca. So Barca are in pretty desperate scenarios right now. You need to make some picks. You need to grab some shutdowns. Tower's gonna go down. Atakan's gonna go down. The whole top side of the jungle is gonna go down. And Baus
they're not letting them breathe. Bear trap on a rope. Wide in, looking to be reeled back in. There's no Chains of Corruption. LR a little bit short of the engage for now, but they're chasing Barca back. Though you're also on the way in, but you look at the timing here, it's with a wave crashing in for inner turret. Bit of gold, maybe an opportunity to fight again.
They haven't been able to spend the gold from taking the tier 2 tower, which was their cross map. If they fight at this point in time, they are no stronger than they were 5 minutes ago. So it's really important that they find this reset. The backs being delayed means that Los Ratones are going to take a tier 2 of themselves.
Stun doesn't connect, but Nemesis, all he has to do is auto-attack and get mana back. His damage still immense. With Magi's as well, needlessly large in inventory. He's onto his 3rd item now.
The problem here is there's so much wave clear still with Orianna
Oh my
and
God,
Lethal
Legolas.
Devourers, there's so much damage coming
Okay.
through. And so much wave clear from the side of Barca that they either need to make a pick, play it 5 versus 3 or 5 versus 4 from the side of Los Ratones to push in those waves. Next objective, 1 minute on the map for the Dragon, and I'm assuming Barca are going to have to try and somehow make a move now that at least they have a second item onto the Orianna.
That Xerath ulti onto the Varus was close, eh? That was really, really close. Legolas walking to base on like 100 health. Almost sniping there with the Medjai's picked up for the Xerath as well. I'm not sure how you navigate this versus the Pillar and then spells from Nemesis. The fight's going to be very difficult.
Barca's going to take this fight, you know he is, but Thane's also
There's 4
there.
members around.
I guess that's probably why he's not showing for
Empowered
now.
recall. He's
Oh, they're coming. Oh, they're coming.
Well,
look on your minimap.
I mean, because objective bounty's being picked up, and for Barca, credit to them, they're actually starting to break down some of these turrets, but Barca's going to cut off the escape route. Maybe the last charade, the last fight is in here for Barca, but onto Chekolad, the bear trap on a rope from Baus is putting down some damage. He's caught out, though, before the rest of LR are coming in. Reckless, too. With a windmill ulti in, he dies, but White Knight now finds Nemesis at full range. The rest of the team trying to get there, but Nemesis still not far enough close. As Barca are getting poked out a little bit. Thega gets a good ulti down onto Crowny, but the damage is not there. He flashes, and this is how far behind they are. Into Nemesis, that won't cut it. Bjorn gets away, back to his station. But White Knight, now that he's gone,
oh, he's looking.
No one to defend Legolas, and White in.
Has flash.
Over the wall, Velia takes a jump. Whiting's going to be next, and this grand final is once again being smothered by Los Ratones back-to-back right now on the cards, and all it takes is one more team fight, one more base to crumble.
And that was a winning fight for Barca. They had gotten 2 picks. They forced a flash off of Crowny as well. They forced a flash off of, Baus didn't have flash, so they punished those 2. But like Nemesis kept free-firing from underneath his tower. And Legolas, I feel like he's been chunked every single fight. He just can't walk up.
You have to feel for White Knight as well. Really trying to send it with the engage. They're running down Nemesis as best as he can, but he gets trundle ulted and he's just one shot. And he has to back away on such low HP. He can't find the engage. And then you just lose so much off the back of trying to defend Baus the entire time and not really being able to impact the game.
What more can you say? You know, it does feel again like these players are head and shoulders above anyone else in the ARLs right now. We've had this discussion. We've seen close calls. Again, it was like super massive last, but they were like, oh, you know, it was, you know, the Turkish League almost able to take him down. Same again with Boostgate. But then, since then, it's been stomps, it's been domination, a Chains of Corruption, Buffet ulti from Baus, but with an Ornn ulti coming out, remember, Baron's up in 11 seconds. If Baus dies here, there are still no big ultis for Barca, so 4 versus 5, but you're 8,500 gold in the dirt. You need to find something without those ultis. He was dancing.
Wait.
Yep.
Okay.
Fair enough. White Knight was dancing. So what else can you do?
All right,
And
fair.
then he finds a kill.
Legolas?
Legolas. This is
Hit
the
it.
part where Zarathkin one
Okay,
shot.
really good. Oh,
Oh my
Oh
god.
my.
Oh my dear
Oh,
god.
the Storm Surge!
Storm Surge kills him.
So
At
that
the
pick
end
on the
there.
Baus now means nothing.
He had flash.
I don't think he expects the
I
Storm
don't-
Surge. Who does?
Yeah,
To be fair, at the end of that.
I mean, if you get hit by that last one anyway, you're definitely just
Well,
done.
that's 25 stacks for Nemesis anyway.
Yep. Nemesis done 30k damage. He truly is
He's
a
showcasing
king of the mid lane,
the
isn't he?
power of the artillery into the blind pick control mages.
But this guy can play everything. This is the problem. Nemesis, like what a tournaments he's had towards the end of NLC. There were some question marks. I know he wasn't having the best performance, but he came into EMEA Masters and he's been taking names. Now Baus
Chasing Baus again.
doing the same. Shockwave going to be bringing him back in. White in is here. And to contribute as Baus flashes over, there's a dredge line waiting. He'll go into small Kled, but even though he dies again, even though he's now way past the 120 deaths, with the push through mid, LR are trying to take some more base defenses with all the members showing through bot. This is going to be the straw that breaks the already broken camel's
It's
back.
5 versus 4, but very crucial ultimates are missing from the sort of Barca. Can
Blank.
they turn it around? They're tipping in.
They're going to use themselves a Hex Gate onto Velia. They've got an isolated target. That's nice. But with
Legolas!
teleport,
Oh.
Thega now joins in, or rather, is Chekolad. But look, Los Ratones on different members. Reckless missing that ulti. It's a bit chaotic. It's a bit crazy, but it works because Los Ratones, they're rats with crazy minds. Right of the Arcane again. And for Barca running back to their base, There's no place like home, but there is no longer home. Teleport to the last Nexus turret, but with the minions already in the base, this might just be it.
Crowny chunks, Velia chomps, and Los Ratones Lila!
They already did this 3-0 in IJC in winter. They're doing it again versus Barça in spring. It seems so simple, taking down Europe one country at a time. We ask, who can stop them? Who can stop this infestation of rats? It's a new dynasty, new era. It's NLC's time to shine. And led by the Los Ratones, your back-to-back spring EMEA champions. They do it all again.
What more can you say? Absolute domination. We said it at the beginning. Every final they've played, they have 3-0'd.
And it's continuing. It hasn't stopped. I mean, the question is now, can they do it for Summer again and Summer NLC?
No. I think the question here becomes,